Most men fail, not because they're too nice, but because they're blind. Blind to patterns, blind to character, blind to the real cost of choosing wrong. They get trapped by beauty, attention, or the thrill of desire, and pay with their peace, their purpose, their power. History has shown it. The modern world keeps proving it. How many powerful men, kings, CEOs, artists, athletes, have seen their empires crumble, not from rivals, but from the wrong woman at their side? Because a woman isn't just a companion. She's an amplifier of your focus, of your energy, or of your downfall. But rare men, the ones who move with calm authority, choose differently. They don't select women emotionally. They select strategically, with standards, with clarity, without guilt. That's why high-value men don't select emotionally. They select strategically, with standards, with ruthless clarity, without guilt. You must become one of them, or be ready to pay the price. Machiavelli, centuries ago, said it best. The intelligence of a ruler is revealed by the company he keeps. Allies, yes, but lovers even more. Because the wrong woman isn't just a distraction, she's a liability. In this video, you'll learn how high-value men apply Machiavellian wisdom to choose their partners. Not out of coldness, out of self-respect. Stay until the end, because the next minutes could save you years of regret and give you back control of your life. 1. She must respect your frame without needing to be taught. Let's begin with the most common trap. The woman who's fun, flirty, but laces every interaction with small tests. Late replies to see if you'll chase. Subtle digs to poke your self-respect. Backhanded compliments to check how easily you bend. Most men think, if I stay patient, she'll come around. Wrong. You don't fix disrespect. You filter it. Machiavelli would remind you, the wise man does at once what the fool does at last. Translation? A king doesn't wait to see if people will respect his crown. He acts when the first line is crossed. This is the moment where you stop reacting and start leading with intent. You don't argue. You don't correct. You observe. Does she treat you with playful respect by default, without you needing to adjust her? If yes, proceed. If no, disengage early, quietly, cleanly, because respect isn't something you negotiate into existence. It's something you select by choice. 2. Prioritize emotional stability, not emotional highs. Picture this. You meet a woman who lights up the room. Sparks fly. Conversations feel electric. Every moment feels like a scene from a movie. But then, she disappears, ignores you, comes back when it suits her. It feels thrilling, addictive. But don't be fooled. This isn't passion. It's emotional instability disguised as charm. Machiavelli would warn you, he who becomes a prince through the favor of the people should always keep them friendly. The lesson: emotional inconsistency creates cracks in loyalty, in politics, and in love. Here's an actionable move. You prioritize emotional composure, not bland, not robotic, but stable, grounded, reliable. The kind of woman whose highs are built on genuine connection, not emotional games. Because peace is not a bonus, it's a requirement. And a man who chooses peace over chaos, he builds an empire, not a circus. 3. Demand aligned values. That's non-negotiable. Here's the mistake 90% of men make. They pick women based on looks, vibe, chemistry, And when problems arise, they try to fix her mindset. They believe attraction can change direction, but it never does. A woman's values are like a compass. If hers points to vanity, drama, or shallow ambition, no amount of love will realign it with your path. Machiavelli would simplify it with this wisdom: the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Translation: in relationships, a woman's values can either be your greatest shield or your most subtle trap. Here's what a high-value man does differently. Before you admire her beauty, test her compass. Ask precise questions. What drives her? How does she treat people who can't benefit her? Does she chase clout or build quietly? Watch her small choices. That's where true alignment reveals itself. Because in the long run, it's not her beauty you live with. It's her direction. Choose a woman whose compass matches yours, or prepare to be dragged off course. 4. Watch how she operates in public. Imagine this simple test. You're out with her. Watch how she treats the waiter, how she talks to strangers, how she handles minor frustrations, like a wrong order or a slow line. Because anyone can act perfect when they want your attention, but real character shows in small, unscripted moments. Machiavelli saw through the illusions. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. Translation: fools believe appearances. The wise observe patterns. Here's how a high-value man leads in this moment. You don't confront. You don't correct. You observe. Does she show grace under pressure? Or does she reveal entitlement, rudeness, or a need to be the loudest in the room? But don't stop there. Extend your observation to her digital life, her Instagram stories, her TikTok posts. Is she constantly chasing attention? Does she present herself with elegance? Or is validation her drug? Because how she behaves online is how she'll behave when you're not around. Social media is the new public square, and the woman who preserves her dignity there? That's rare. That's valuable. Remember, you're not looking for a woman who performs grace. You're looking for a woman who embodies it. 5. Choose the woman who supports your mission. Let's get to the foundation of all masculine power. Your mission comes first, always. Not because you're selfish, but because a man without a mission is a man without gravity. And a man without gravity, he gets pulled into everything and ends up going nowhere. Now here's the truth most ignore. A high-value woman will never compete with your mission. She'll respect it, support it, align with it. Not by sacrificing her own ambitions, but by understanding this simple law. Your direction must be clear and non-negotiable. Machiavelli warned rulers of this exact trap. The prince who relies entirely on fortune is lost when it changes. In your life, your purpose is your fortune. The woman who tries to replace it with herself, she's not offering love. She's offering distraction. Here's how a high-value man protects his path. Watch how she reacts when you prioritize your work. Not once, consistently. Does she admire your focus? Or does she guilt-trip you for not giving her constant attention? Does she offer peaceful presence beside you? Or does she create chaos when you're building? The woman who aligns herself with your growth will multiply your power. The one who resents it will quietly drain you. Choose accordingly. Because in the long run, the woman by your side can be your greatest leverage or your most expensive liability. 6. Detect subtle competitiveness and disqualify. Let's address one of the most dangerous yet invisible behaviors: subtle competition. Not loud, not obvious, but persistent. You'll feel it when she downplays your wins with sarcasm, when she one-ups you in conversations, when your ambitions are mocked as dreams too big. It's framed as humor, framed as just teasing. But don't be fooled. This is not playful. It's corrosive. Machiavelli observed this in court politics daily. Hatred is gained as much by good works as by evil. Translation: your success will attract quiet resentment, even from those who smile in your face. And in relationships, this subtle rivalry is deadly, because no man can build an empire while defending it inside his own home. Here's how a high-value man keeps his power intact. Be ruthlessly observant. Pay attention to her energy when you win. Does she celebrate your victories? Or does she feel the need to remind you of hers? Does she amplify your momentum? Or does she subtly compete for the spotlight? A woman who competes with you is not your ally, no matter how beautiful, no matter how charming. Choose admiration, choose alignment, choose peace. Hidden rivalry will drain you more than any external enemy ever could. 7. Value feminine grace. Reject masculine energy. Let's be clear about what creates peace in a man's life. Complementarity, not competition. In today's culture, women are encouraged to embrace masculine traits: assertiveness, dominance, confrontation. This is celebrated in careers, but in a relationship, it becomes friction. A high-value man doesn't need another warrior at home. He needs a partner who balances, not battles. Machiavelli would smirk at this dynamic. The nature of people is fickle. They're easy to persuade, but hard to keep persuaded. What does that mean here? A woman who tries to out-masculine you will constantly challenge your frame. It will never be enough. What starts as strong and independent often becomes subtle competition for leadership. And leadership in your life? That's non-negotiable. Here's your strategic move. Simple, firm, effective. Observe her influence. Not her words, not her ambition, but her energy. Does she lead with feminine grace, nurturing, supportive, soft power? Or does she challenge you like a rival, needing to win, to correct, to dominate? Remember, masculine energy competes. Feminine energy harmonizes. The wrong choice creates daily tension. The right one builds lasting peace. Choose the woman who enhances your kingdom, not the one who wants to wear your crown. 8. Think long-term. Does she invest or consume? Stop getting blinded by the moment. Attraction is easy, but the question that protects your future is simple. Does she build with you, or just enjoy the fruits of what you've built? Look at the little things. Does she support your projects? Does she make your life smoother? Or does she silently expect you to carry everything while offering nothing in return? Machiavelli's long-game wisdom fits perfectly here. A wise ruler should never keep faith when it harms his own interests. In plain words, don't invest long-term in someone showing only short-term loyalty. Temporary sweetness doesn't deserve permanent access. Here's how a man with real power handles this. Test for reciprocity. Don't announce it. Don't explain it. Just observe. When you give time, does she give attention back? When you invest energy, does she match it? Or does she drain it? A woman who adds to your momentum is an asset. One who only consumes it is a liability. And high-value men? They don't carry liabilities into the future. If you're still watching, you've already chosen growth over noise. focusing on what truly elevates you, not what distracts you. And now, you're about to reach the part of this video that changes everything. Let's be clear. You're not here to win women. You're here to win back yourself. Choosing the right woman is not about ego. It's not about collecting trophies or playing games of control. It's about protecting your most valuable asset, your peace. Because every time you accept what drains you, you betray what builds you. Most men don't fall because of a lack of strength. They fall because of a lack of standards. Fear of being alone. Fear of missing out. Fear of starting over. Long before Instagram and dating apps, Machiavelli observed a simple human flaw. People respect what they can't easily influence. Not out of fear of violence, but out of fear of losing access, losing leverage. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone truly admire a person who bends to every request? You don't respect the colleague who always says yes just to avoid conflict. You respect the one who knows when to say no, calmly, without drama, without apology. Machiavelli's point was never about being aggressive. It was about being solid. A man who commands quiet respect doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to prove. He holds his ground, and the world adjusts. That is the real meaning behind being feared. But this fear isn't about aggression. It's not about dominance. It's about the quiet authority of a man who knows his worth so deeply that no approval, no flattery, no temporary pleasure can make him fold. Fear through clarity, fear through standards, fear through calm restraint. Because a man who can walk away with grace is a man no one dares play with. He doesn't need to prove. He doesn't need to chase. His very presence speaks louder than words. When you choose women with ruthless discernment, not bitterness, not arrogance, but disciplined calm, you don't repel women. You repel noise. You repel chaos. You repel everything that was designed to distract you from your mission. And ironically, that's when the right women appear. The rare ones, the high-value ones, the ones who recognize true strength because you've shown it first, not through flexing, but through peaceful power, through the way you protect your time, through the way you refuse to be rushed, through the way you stand in your truth, no matter who applauds. This is not dark. This is dignified. This is sovereignty. Machiavelli never wrote about cruelty for cruelty's sake. He wrote about clarity, strategy, alignment. A man who aligns his choices with his values cannot be moved by fear. He does not settle. He does not chase illusions. He builds, brick by brick, a life that reflects his inner command. And when you become that man, when you choose your peace over temporary comfort, when you choose depth over distraction, when you choose respect over validation, you don't just win, you become unforgettable. That's not a game, that's legacy. So from this moment, raise your standard, not in anger, not in reaction, but in quiet mastery. Let mediocrity disqualify itself. Let noise reveal its own insignificance. You don't need to fight for what's beneath you. You need to rise above with unwavering calm. That's how kings move. That's how warriors build empires without drawing their swords. And that's the man you're becoming. One clear, deliberate choice at a time. Now act like it. One last message for those who truly want to change their life. For those who are ready to detach from the 99% and play a different game. What I'm working on will change the way women see you and the way you see yourself. It's coming soon, so stay tuned. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share this with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.